What's up guys, it's Chris Majestic, and if you're wondering why you haven't been hearing from me lately, it's because my wife and I have recently had a new addition to the family about a month ago, so of course I've been getting plenty of sleep. Well, in the midst of all this been going on, I finally received the silver play button in the mail. So if you don't know, Google awards channels with a silver play button when they hit 100,000 subscribers. Now we actually hit 100,000 late last year, but with all this been going on lately, it looks like they were a little behind, so I'm just now getting it. So today we're gonna go ahead and get this thing unboxed, but I figured this would also be a good opportunity to share some tips that I've learned over the years as a YouTuber that might help some people who are thinking about starting a channel. So let's go ahead and get this thing open. All right. So, let's see. It says, you've just done something that very few YouTube creators accomplish. You had an astonishing 100,000 people subscribe to your channel. Thank you, YouTube. This actually means a lot. I may not actually read this whole thing on camera, but it is a really nice letter. But here is the silver play button. Wow, this actually looks a little different than what I was expecting. Let's go ahead and chuck this box. Wow, this is really nice. I feel like I should have on white gloves or something holding this thing. So here it is. It says, presented to Chris Majestic for passing 100,000 subscribers. So I don't know if you can see it back there. Yeah, it looks like I'm at 134 now. But I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for this, because without you, this wouldn't be possible. And you know, I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. I say it all the time, and I'm always here to try to help you guys. And I listen and I try to comment, you know, respond to your comments and stuff like that. But this really does mean a lot. I didn't think this was ever going to happen. So I'm actually kind of excited to see this. Thank you. So I've mentioned this before, but I started the channel about 4 years ago, basically on a dare. So I had no idea that the channel was going to take off like it did. So I want to kind of go into the next part of the video, which is going to be some YouTube tips of things that I've learned over the last 4 years. And the very first tip I want to give you is that if you're thinking about starting a channel, your main motivation shouldn't be money. Now, of course, big YouTubers usually make a lot of money, but the problem is that it takes so long to start making money on YouTube that if you do it for the money, you'll likely lose motivation long before that ever happens. This is probably one of the main reasons that you see people start a channel and after a few months they give up and stop posting new videos. It's best to find something you're passionate about and shoot the videos for fun. If you enjoy shooting the videos and it's something that people want to watch, then the money and the success will come. Tip number 2 is not to get caught up on equipment. Now I'm gonna do an entire video on this really soon, but the biggest thing that I see most new YouTubers get hung up on is buying really expensive equipment thinking that it'll make their videos better. Unfortunately, this is simply not true. I've seen plenty of successful channels use nothing more than an iPhone or a cheap camera, and I've seen small channels spend thousands of dollars on equipment just to struggle to see any success. If you wanna get started, just do it with what you have and send the video to a few friends and see what they think. The most important thing is your content, not how good it looks. Now, when I first started out, I did have a nice camera and a few other pieces of equipment, but my main issue was learning how to sit in the basement and talk to a camera in a room by myself. Now, this might seem easy, but trust me, this is one of the toughest things about being a YouTuber. So before you go out and spend money on equipment, sit down and make some content first and then get some feedback from your friends. And tip number 3 is to find a void that needs to be filled. In other words, try to be different. If you do what everyone else is doing, then there's a good chance that there's going to be too much competition and you're going to end up at the bottom of the search results. So for example, when I first started out a few years ago, I reviewed the Samsung Galaxy S7. I spent hours and hours shooting and editing the video, and I poured my heart into it, and it barely got any views. What I didn't know at that time was that pretty much every tech channel was talking about the S7, and there was just way too much competition for my tiny channel to get any views. So there were 2 things happening here. The first problem, as I said, was that there was too much competition, and the second issue is that I didn't have enough subscribers. And one of the biggest benefits of having subscribers is that you usually get more views within the first 24 hours after uploading your video. Those first few hours are crucial, and if people don't seem interested in your video early on, then it sets the trajectory for that video and it ends up getting buried under all the bigger channels. channels. So it's best to find something that not a lot of YouTubers are talking about and go with that. After your channel grows, then you can focus on some of the more popular stuff. Tip number 4 is probably the most important, and that's to stay consistent, upload at least once a week, and don't quit. I can't stress to you enough how important this is. And the YouTube algorithm has a tendency to punish YouTubers who don't upload frequently. I can tell you from personal experience that when I upload at least once a week, that my videos get recommended more often and I see a noticeable increase in views. This can be especially difficult if you're like me and work a full-time job, but I can tell you that if I ever skip a week or two, it's like I have to climb out of a hole and the new videos barely get any views. And the biggest thing to remember is not to quit. So back in 2016, when I did that Galaxy S7 review and saw how terrible the numbers were, I decided that was it for me and I took a break from YouTube for about 6 months. This was probably the worst thing I could do. Not only did I lose a ton of subscribers, but when I finally did decide to start back up, it was like starting from scratch. YouTube punished me for quitting and they wouldn't recommend my channel, so I was barely getting any views. It took about 2 to 3 months for things to get back to normal, and from that point on, I vowed never to do that again. So now that you know what bad things can happen when you focus on the numbers, the last tip is not to get focused on the numbers. Now look, anybody who knows me knows how impatient I am. Well, as a super impatient person, it was killing me that I wasn't getting the views and subscribers that I wanted to see a few months after I started the channel. It seemed to be taking forever and I started losing my motivation. It wasn't until I stopped focusing on the numbers that I got a nice rhythm and started having fun with it. So if you get joy out of making and posting content that people want to watch, you're guaranteed to make it even though it might take a while. Now keep in mind that most of the big YouTubers have been doing this for years. They didn't get to millions of subscribers overnight. They just stuck to it, had fun, and eventually the success came. But that's gonna pretty much do it for this video, guys. And if you did find it helpful, please let me know in the comment section. I do want to know if you guys want to see more videos like this where I talk about some things a little different than I normally talk about. And as I said, I will be doing an equipment video. So if you're interested in this video, go ahead and look out for that equipment video where I talk about different YouTube equipment that I use and some things that I've learned over the years. Thanks for watching, guys. And again, I really do thank you for this plaque. I really do appreciate each and every one of my subscribers. I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.